Hey yogis, it's Sina here, the Yoga Apothecary. Welcome to our second Epidose of the Super Strong Core Ab series. The second Epidose is going to focus on Tabata core movements. We're going to be doing 2 different segments of Tabatas, and then we're going to end with a 5-minute segment as well. So this one's a little shorter than the first one. In terms of a supply that you might want to use, there is going to be one movement called a renegade row with a push-up, and I like to do those, of course, with weights. So similar to our first session, you'll want to have weights handy. You can choose to use 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe even a 10-pound dumbbells. So if you want to hit pause and get those ready, and then we'll get underway. Also, you'll want to maybe warm up for a few minutes. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to go straight into the movement. I'm going to show you what each movement looks like, and then we'll go through that first Tabata. And I'm going to be using my timer to help you know when it's 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. The first movement is a down dog swivel. So you're going to take your down dog stance, and then what you're going to do is you're going to push the mat away, and you're going to tap or reach this right arm to your toe or ankle, come back forward, press back to down dog with the tap. So we'll be doing those on each side using your core. That's the first movement. The second is coming to a forearm plank. And we're going to be doing spider crunches, which is mountain climbers on your forearm. And it's going to look like this. So going to reach to tap the tricep. Again, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Then we're going to do flutter kicks. So you'll be coming onto your back. I usually put my hands just under my low back. And then, although you could leave your arms free at your sides, then our goal is to lower, lift the shoulders, chin to chest, and flutter. So we'll be doing those. And then our last movement is to hold 20 seconds of a Spider-Man. We come back on our belly. Oops. Don't want to lay on that microphone. So you come to your belly. You'll reach your arms in front of you and pretend like you're Superman. So pulling through the core and staying in this position for 20 seconds, just gazing over your nose. So that's our 4 movements for our first segment. I'm going to get us started with our handy guide on the side. So get ready. First movement is our down dog taps.
Starting your Tabata workout. Get ready. Exercise. Rest.
10 seconds of rest. We go to our spider crunches on our forearm.
Exercise.
Use that core.
Rest.
Rest. What comes next? Flutter kicks.
Exercise.
Navel to spine. Chin to chest. Flutter, flutter, flutter.
Rest.
Rest. Okay, we got our Superman. And then we go back through this all for another round.
Exercise.
Pretend like you're Christopher Reeves, flying like Superman or Superwoman. Rest. Back to the down dog taps.
Exercise.
Coming down for your Superman spider forearm climbers.
Exercise.
Keeping the shoulders above the elbows. Coming down. Flutter kicks.
Exercise.
Reminds me of being on one of those little boats on the water. Pedal, pedal, pedal. Almost there. One more of the Superman. Float it up. Hug the inner thighs. Almost there. Rest. First Tabata segment is done. Great job. So go ahead and grab some water and towel off, and we're going to do another Tabata in just a minute. So our second set of our Tabata is also going to have 4 movements, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest for 2 full rounds through each. I'm going to show you what they are. The first is a V crunch. So what this is going to look like is legs are going to open. Your arms are going to be reaching through center. You're going to peel your shoulders, your chest up and reach the arms through the legs. And then you're going to lower down, close the legs, arms come outside the legs and crunch again. So that's the first movement. The second movement is hip dip. So you will come back to our forearms. You come into a forearm plank, and then you're going to swivel and dip your hip to the mat and come back on the toes and swivel to the other side. That's our second movement. The third movement is called a tuck up. We come back on our backs. Position yourself. You can keep the knees bent if you need to, or you can straighten the legs. Arms reach above the head, and you tuck up. You lengthen, you tuck. That's our third movement. And then our last is using the weights I mentioned at the beginning, so you want to make sure you have them at the top of your mat. You'll bring them onto your mat, about shoulder distance apart. Your feet are going to be in a wider plank pose. So you bring them to the edges of the mat. You try and keep the hips square and the torso long. You draw the weight back. And then you do a push-up. So that's the renegade row. So make sure you have those at the top of the mat so you can grab them. And I have our trusty timer. Let's get going. V crunches first, plank dips, tuck ups, renegade row.
Starting your top and all workout. Get ready. Exercise.
There's the one. pull the navel to spine. Good job. Our second movement is to come to the forearm for those plank dips.
Exercise.
So you're twisting through the thoracic region, shifting the weight so you can dip your hip, pressing through the forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders. Use that core. Come to the knees. Now we have our tuck-ups. Again, your knees can be bent. Tuck it up, lengthen it out. Roll it on up, grab for those weights.
Exercise.
Row it out, push it up. Row it out, push it up. Rest. We're going back through it all. Wide, narrow. Wide, narrow. Come back to the forearms. We got those hip dips.
Exercise.
Swivel and dip. Come down to the knees to flip over. We got our tuck-ups.
Exercise.
Tuck it up or leave the knees bent. Flip it on up. Last round of renegade rows with the push-up.
Exercise.
Good job.
Workout pause.
Excellent. We've got one more segment to go. If you want to towel off and grab some water. I'll see you in a minute. So our last segment is going to have 3 movements. We're going to hold a minute of a plank, either in a forearm or with in your regular plank stance with arms long. We're going to do either a planking shoulder taps, or I'm going to show you a variation you can do in tabletop with the knees bent. And then we're going to be holding a bridge for 4 minutes. I know. So let me show you what the 3 movement, your choices are. The first, again, is to take your normal plank. So holding here in your plank, wrists are under the shoulders, slight dome shape in the back, softening through the shoulder blades, heels drawing back, knitting the low ribs together. You have an option of being on your forearms for this, so just coming down. So being on the forearms. The second movement is going to be back to a plank, either a high plank with the arms long, tapping the shoulders for a minute, going through this movement. Hopefully I'm not hitting the microphone. You can come down to tabletop pose, hover the knees, and tap it out here. And so you can choose which option you prefer, and then we'll be holding a bridge. So we come into on our backs. Arms come long, palms face down. Of course, you're rooting through the three corners of each foot, keeping some distance between the heels and the low bottom so you have good alignment. And then you'll take a breath, lifting up, squeezing through the glutes and your thighs, rooting through the feet, hugging the inner thighs, offering your heart space to the back of the mat. Chin is long, and we'll be holding in that bridge pose. So I have another timer set for us. You know your options. And I have a 5-second countdown. Here we go. We're working. I'll let you know when the timer goes off. Trying to keep that good form. Pressing through the palms. Drawing those heels back. Navel to spine. Doming through those shoulder blades. You're already over halfway there. It's okay if you start shaking a little bit. Gaze over the nose. Don't look at your feet. Ten more seconds. You got this. Bring it down. Oh yeah, sit back on your heels. Give you a minute to rest. And then we're going to work through the plank shoulder taps also for a minute, or you can be in tabletop, tapping them with the knees bent. Okay, here we go. If you're doing this with your plank stance, I would suggest widening the feet. And here comes our lead in. Here we go. Hopefully you're not hearing me bang the microphone too bad. Trying not to tap it. Notice what's happening with the hips. Try and keep them square. We're already halfway there. If you need to pause, come down to your knees. And then join me back when you're ready. Probably hear me breathing too. 10 more seconds. Good job. Come down to the knees, or sit back if your knees were lower. Catch your breath. Whoopsies. I got to readjust the timer for the bridge. Get us set up for our 4 minutes. You're welcome to grab some water if you need it. And then I'm going to put this closer so that I can see it. So I don't make you hold it any longer than you need to. All right, come to your back. Here we go.
Prepare. And up we go. Remember, hugging those inner thighs, pressing through the three corners of your feet. Arms are long by your sides, palms face down. You're always welcome to advance into the bridge, coming up on the shoulders by interlacing your hands underneath your low back, coming up onto the balls of the shoulders. Offering your heart space to the top of your mat, relaxing through the chin. Hip points reaching up as if to kiss the ceiling. We've already done almost a minute. Again, if you need to lower down and come out of it for a breath and then come back, you can. If you want to bend your elbows, fingertips reaching for the ceiling, you can do that. Play around with some arm movement. So interlacing the hands underneath the low back. Pressing through those feet. Imagining a block is between your thighs. We're about halfway there already. Keep that Ujjayi breath. Squeeze those glutes. Squeeze those thighs. Whew. Feeling it now. We've got a minute of work left. Hang in there. Keep breathing. Ujjayi breath. Hang on. Take a break when you need it. Last 30 seconds. You got this. Ten seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower. Woo. Bring those knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. We'll release into a Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet will touch, knees come wide. And maybe you just rest your hands on your belly. Finding this moment of stillness, for you've worked so hard in this Tabata core session. You're always welcome to repeat this as often as you like. Take your arms to your sides, close your knees like a book, maybe cross your ankles, roll your way up. I hope you enjoyed this second Epidose.
for the Strong Core Ab series. And I'll see you again soon for the third in the series. I hope you'll join us. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Namaste.